Welcome to another episode of the Tenebrous Horse channel. Tonight, I've chosen to do the Goth tag, and while I was trying to put some time aside to have it up and posted by Halloween, that did not happen. And I'm very sorry. I haven't made any videos in a really long time. But anyways, it is Black Friday, 1 a.m. and I have a little bit of time before I start to get really busy next week. So next week is looking pretty busy. So yeah, I've been pretty busy with some things, a few projects, and of course trying to get a job. So anyways, let's get straight to the point. And yes, I do have the questions on a note card because I don't want to have to go through different windows and whatever. So I'm sorry if I'm looking down, but yeah, it's the note card. Here we go. All right, Goth tag. When did you get into goth? It seems like forever ago. I would have to say when? I'm really bad with time, but I don't know. Like it doesn't seem like too long ago or too far away, too close, or feels, I don't know. How can I answer this question? Well, as far as like dressing goth, the fashion aspect of it, 6 years ago, completely. Like totally, all of this, whatever, 6 years ago. And I still feel weird saying, like, oh my god, it's been 6 years. Because it's like time flies, especially when you're in college. As far as like being interested in things like morbid things, I've had a fascination with strange and unusual things since childhood, but I'm not going to be one of those people who goes out and says, oh, I've been goth my whole life. I would prefer to just put it this way: my awakening of my, awareness of myself as goth, or being put into a label, which still feels kind of weird because I'm just being me, would be about 10 years ago. More or less 10 years ago. Dressing fashion-wise 6 years ago, but like all of this 10 years ago. However, I've always had an interest in strange and unusual things since my childhood. And yeah, like there were things when I was a kid that I'm kind of careful about talking about with other people because I've seen really strange things. Not because I'm imagining them. I try to be careful about discussing these things that I've seen since I was a kid, because not everyone is nice about it. I've seen a lot of people's reactions like, oh, you're crazy, or oh, you're dumb and gullible, and I don't enjoy having to sit there and see people be that way to something that I know, I've seen, I've experienced, and it's real. And if you're wondering what that is, it's to do with the paranormal and seeing stuff like that. So yeah. But other things that are goth related that I've had an interest in would be like movies. There would be certain movies or shows that at one point in my childhood scared me, but then I maintained some kind of interest in it, curiosity in what I was scared about, and so I came to like it. Like Tales from the Crypt, I remember watching that show when I was a kid, and I really like that show. I miss it. And yeah, I remember that show, Tales from the Crypt. Tales of the Crypt. From the Crypt. Ugh, the turkey got to me. So yeah. There's shows like that, and other shows that I liked when I was a kid were like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps. I love those shows. I miss them. I was born in 1990, so like I got to live through all those shows when they were running on TV, and I really miss them. I wish that we still had shows like that on TV. But oh well. I'm sure there's probably some kind of TV show like that right now that I'm probably not even aware of. But if you do know of one, don't be afraid to let me know. Okay, so next question. How did you get into Gothic subculture, excluding the interests? How did I get into it? Well, around middle school, I had an interest in the punk subculture, so I was trying to explore that, and somehow I got sucked into goth, the subculture, excluding earlier interests. So I had heard of goth earlier, but I didn't pay too much attention to the subculture. And so from trying to explore punk and understand it, I got sucked into goth and was just curious about everything. So I went in and did some research, and the more research and the more I explored, philosophy and the music and the art and the fashion, it began to feel like home. So, yeah. That's how I got into that. And so middle school was more like an interest in punk. By high school, freshman, sophomore year, around there, That's when this started. And it's been pretty good. I'm not comfortable with saying that it's a phase because it's not a phase. It's for life. It's an awakening for me of myself and a personal journey, I feel. But for other people, I think everybody should see it as like a personal journey of exploration. On some levels, I feel the same way about religion. But I don't let, some people might be wondering, like, some people that I talk to and come across, like when I go to church and everything like that, which I do, I'm Catholic, and I don't let what other people say to me, like, oh, Goth is devilcraft, devil worshipping. That's not true, okay? I feel like it's helped me, understand humans and understand my religion, the religion that I follow, better. I'm Catholic, okay? It's not that it's taking me away from my roots, my beliefs that I grew up with. I feel that it's just helped me. And it's nothing bad, okay? It's positive. And that's something I wish everybody could understand. So, what subgenre of goth do you consider yourself to be? That I can't quite say. Because I'm all over the place as far as fashion. There's not just one area that I push myself to be or anything. I enjoy romantic goth, romantic Victorian goth. I like the big skirts and all of that, and the lace, and the ruffles. But when I say romantic goth, I'm not including Gothic Lolita into that, because I'm not into Gothic Lolita. I feel Gothic Lolita itself needs to be seen as something else. It shouldn't, I don't feel that it can be included in saying, oh, it is goth, because it's part of Lolita culture, which has something else to do with being doll-like and princess-like and cutesy. And while that's nice and cool for other people, I'm not comfortable with others saying, oh, you're Gothic Lolita. No, I'm not Gothic Lolita. I think it's cool and everything, and it's great if you want to, live your life as a Gothic Lolita or a Lolita. That's great, but that's not for me. That's just not for me. But yeah, I'm kind of just a general goth. I'm all over the place. One day I might want to wear a big skirt and, a nice blouse and lace. Other days I like to wear spikes and pants and fishnets, and so I go with whatever I feel like wearing. I don't just go with one or the other. But mostly, I think, would be romantic goth. I'm really sorry that I had to pause the video in the middle of filming, but yeah, my mother just came back from work and she's exhausted because of course it is Black Friday and she works in retail. So anyways, we'll talk a little bit about the Black Friday because I don't think a lot of people understand that. But we'll do that at the end of the video because we need to continue with this goth tag and get it all done. So I believe what I left off with was, what do you believe the basis is the basis of the Gothic subculture? And I said, before pausing, I think we left off with that question. Well, like I said, philosophy and music, I think, are the biggest things. It's the basis. You should know it. You should understand it. That doesn't mean that you have to know every single band, like be extremely crazy about it. You can like other bands and, you know, other types of music that are not goth, but music is very important because from the music comes the inspiration of everything else, and from the philosophy comes the music. So philosophy, music, then everything else is inspired by both of those. You have art and fashion that are both influenced by music or by philosophy, you know. How else can I explain that? I don't really know. So there is that. The fashion is important, but is not as important as those two, philosophy, music, and of course, I like to throw in, you know, your personal interests. What are you naturally, you know, attracted to? The self, right? Are you attracted to the music and all of that, and the books you read and the movies you watch and the clothes you wear because you're told, oh, this is goth? Or is it just because you just have an interest in it without being told that, oh, you have to be this way? You know, I hope you understand what I'm saying. So the self is also important. What are you naturally, you know, attracted to? So philosophy, music, and yourself, being yourself, and what you're, you know. What do you dislike about being goth? I would have to say, I don't like the fact that people, and I know it's kind of normal for people to just see something weird and unusual that doesn't seem very, how do I say it, sweet. It seems kind of like barbaric to other people. I don't like the fact that people think goths are satanic worshippers or anything like that, devil worshipping or anything like that. I don't like it. But it's not really the subculture. Although some people in the subculture are pretty outspoken with their religious choice, mainly like pagan religions is what you typically see on YouTube. But YouTube and anywhere else, I wish there were more, more Catholic and Christian and Jewish Goths that would, come forward and say, yes, you don't have to worship a pagan religion or any other religion. You just to be Goth. You can, you can be Christian and Goth. You can be Catholic and Goth. Because overall, Goth has nothing to do with religion. Okay? It is not a religion. And yeah, I mean, it's a pain in the ass when, like, people think, oh, you're a devil worshiper, you're gonna burn the minute you step foot into a church. You're not. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being Catholic and Christian or Jewish or any other type of religion and following the Gothic subculture. So there's that. And as far as like, I would like to say something else I dislike about Goth is the issue with being pale. Some people think, oh, some people, meaning like people inside the subculture or people outside of the subculture. And I'm careful in saying this, but I'm careful about saying this, just the whole thing about being pale. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be pale or wanting to be naturally pale. Now, just because you want to be pale, I don't think it's wrong. Alright? What I don't like is the fact that the minute you say pale, someone's like, oh, you want to be white. And the minute I hear that, it makes me feel kind of bad because it's like, I'm not white. And it's not that I'm trying to turn my back on the, my background, my ethnic background. I'm mixed. I'm Chinese Latino, and I'm proud of that. So it's just because I wear sunblock and choose to wear pale makeup, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to be Caucasian. That's something I really wish people could understand. It's not that I'm trying to be Caucasian, it's just that, quite honestly, I just want to be what is naturally pale for my skin tone. Okay, I'm not paper white, and I'm not trying to be paper white. I just want to be my natural paleness because I like the dead but not quite there look. So that's what I go for when it comes to makeup. And my skin tone, of course, is just, I go for, I'm dead but not quite there. Okay? It has nothing to do with race. And that's something I feel people need to sit down and understand. It's nothing to do with race. And other people who are just getting into, the Gothic subculture should understand that too, that you don't have to be like paper white pale. It's a nice look and everything, but you don't have to be paper white and pale just for, for you to be goth or anything like that. You just do you. Heck, you don't have to be pale at all. You could be black, you could be tan, you could be any race, any mix of race. It shouldn't be, the problem that it is right now. So yeah, there was that. Overall, I like it. I like being goth, I guess. I like being me overall, okay? What do your parents think about it is the next question. My parents. Well, we've hit some rough patches as far as my parents go. I mean, in the beginning, at first, my mom was like not sure of what to think of it, and then it went through several stages to where she wasn't sure what to think of me going in this direction with my life. Then she was like okay with it, and then as I started, exploring other things like fashion wise and stuff like that, my external self reflecting my internal self, she didn't like it at first, and my father was and has always been a complete jerk about this. So let's just get that out of the way. He's a complete jerk, and I do not have any interest in keeping in touch with him because it's not a healthy relationship that I care to keep. It's just kind of like my father seems to be just, he doesn't just seem to be, but he is one of those people that doesn't bring much positiveness into your life for many reasons. It's not just because of being goth, but I just don't get along with him, and I would rather be free away from him. But my mother, after, saying no at first, not knowing what to think, she came to realize, it's okay. But then she went into a stage where she thought it was just a phase, that I was going to grow out of it. And, here we are. I'm 24 and I just graduated college, and no, I am not growing out of it. This is, I've made it clear to her that it's a solid thing in my life and it's not going away. It's here. It's part of myself. Okay? It's not going away. So yeah. She's come to realize that, and she is a little bit more accepting now, except for every now and then she forgets and tries to get me to dress normal. Whatever normal is. But I have a good relationship with her, and she's accepted me for who I am. who and how I am. So it's okay. Eyebrows or no eyebrows? Eyebrows. For me personally, I think eyebrows. Natural eyebrows. My natural eyebrows. And by that I mean like not shaving them. Because why do I prefer my own eyebrows? Because I already have trouble enough with handling makeup every day. And so by trying to draw my own eyebrows every day, you know, the same way, the same spot, equally, that would be pretty difficult for me to keep up with. So, but I will say, it does look good on the other people who can, you know, have the patience to carefully draw their eyebrows every day. It's a really nice look, you know, but not for me. Favorite band? It's difficult. 'Cause there's so many bands I listen to. I don't just listen to one band. It's really difficult for me to choose because they're all good. And I'm not gonna say I'm like, you know, super fangirl, whatever, drop panties in band's face, crazy. But there are bands that I like to listen to. Okay. And I may not know everything there is to know about each of the bands I listen to. I may know a few things, but I don't know everything about each and every single band. I just enjoy their music. Some bands I only like, you know, a few songs from, but I can tell you off of the top of my head a few bands that I do listen to, like Bella Morte, Strap on Halo, which I wished I would have, you know, been introduced to earlier now that they're about to relocate themselves to Seattle and I won't be able to see their shows. Oh well. I like Voltaire and Cruise Shadows. And let's see. Specimen. I enjoy listening to Specimen as well. Other bands that I like. Bauhaus is nice. I like Peter Murphy. And I can't quite think of all the other bands because there's so many. So many. But you get the idea. What's your opinion on Marilyn Manson? I don't know him personally, but I respect him as an artist. Some of his music, his early music, is pretty cool. So, of course, I like his Beautiful People song. But that's pretty much it. I'm not a fan of Manson. I like some of his songs. I respect him as an artist. But other than that, that's it. And no, I don't think he's goth. He's not goth at all. And I am gonna say, I don't like the fact that people think, oh, you're goth, you must listen to Manson. For many reasons. Manson is his own thing. He does his own thing, okay? I also don't like it because of the religious issue, meaning that they see Manson, they see the crazy performances he does and the things he includes and the whole Antichrist thing. I don't like the fact that there's that present, and then, someone who's not well educated comes and sees that, and then they associate everything that is goth with being satanic and devil worshipping and aggressive and vicious, or whatever the hell is going through their mind. I don't really like that. And then, that of course all leads to what I just discussed, that people think goth is a religion. It's not a religion, okay? It can be a lifestyle, it can be, a subculture to some. Some people take it as a lifestyle, other people take it as just a subculture. That's what other people think, okay? Other people within who are well educated. But no, it's not a religion. So that's all I have to say about Manson. Not too crazy about him. And the final question is, what were your baby bat years like? Okay, baby bat years. Very minimal makeup. I still do minimal makeup. But I'm beginning to kind of play around with it right now because I have more time. I just graduated, so I have a little bit more time. Not really, because I'm still busy working with everything else in my life. But I was pretty minimal. Just black t-shirts, black pants. Not well done hair. I wasn't one of those people with, the hair covering part of the face. Although my hair went through a phase like that, but not quite like, or like, but yeah, I was kind of trying to play with my hair, kind of trying to play with makeup, but overall, a plain Jane. Mostly. And I didn't quite know how to dress myself really well. So I would have a lot of days where I would kind of get a little crazy. Or I would be just straight up plain. Went through a phase where I had shirts that had some kind of quirky saying on them. So, like, every day I would wear a shirt with a weird phrase or something like that. Just for humor. Then I stopped. But overall, black t-shirt, black jeans, boots. And sometimes I'm just like that. when I don't feel like dressing up. But yeah, that is it. And about Black Friday, just a quick little, I suppose history lesson. Black Friday, it's not just, well, actually, it is mostly about shopping, Black Friday, so the origins go back to the Dust Bowl, like in the 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s, around there. I can't remember. There was a stock market crash, and so that's where Black Friday started. And the term Black Friday just came from the 60s, when people started to get really crazy about Christmas shopping. So it has a lot to do with the economy here in the United States. It's not just we're having a big crazy sale and people are doing whatever just because. It all has to do with the economy. So if later on today, that is if this video gets posted today, or any other day or year you happen to come across this video, a little bit what Black Friday is about. So stores give you some prices, and of course sometimes the prices are at certain times of the day and people go crazy, and people also camp outside of the stores before they open the doors, and sometimes it's violent, and sometimes there's fist fights in the middle of the line, and people are just cold, tired, and hungry, and it's crazy. But yeah, and I feel like some of that is kind of alleviated with the whole Cyber Monday deals. Although I should look up the origins of Cyber Monday sometime soon so I can actually understand where did it come from. So many curious questions. But that's it. And I will see you guys later. Hopefully we can get into some dark art crafts. I'm not promising anything, but I'm thinking about making tutorial videos. Not sure about what though first, so happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Happy Black Friday. And just be safe. Be loving. Stay dark and spooky.